Hello and welcome to the trade setup. In this video, we are looking at IonQ. It is time for another update, and it appears this stock has followed through our expectations of continuation to lower prices. It hasn't quite managed to find the needed support at the previously communicated levels around $46. And not only that, but the developments, the move down, is rather suggesting now that the correction isn't even complete, no, that it would need even further continuation to lower prices. Even further extensions to lower prices. So today we will take a look at that, but before we do it, I wanted to highlight the setup that we are tracking for anyone who wouldn't have been following the quantum stocks too closely, for anyone who would be curious if this setup is even worth it, and I strongly believe this to be the case. I am looking at an initial 5V move to the upside within an impulse in a wave 1. I am looking now for a 3-wave correction in a wave 2 into the support zone between $49.50 down to $32.40. And from these levels, I expect to see a reversal within what is most likely going to be a wave 3 to new all-time highs. The ideal target based on the current lows, which will likely have to be subject to change as we continue to lower prices within the wave 2, is at the 138.2% extension of the wave 1, $185. That is the expectation within this next move up alone. So we are talking about a 4x from the current levels. And I repeat myself, this target will be subject to change as the correction within the white wave 2 extends lower. Now, with all of that said, you have already decided whether this is interesting to you or not, so we will continue to the actual structure at this point, where previously we have been looking for this to be an ABC pattern, right? A 3-wave move down within a wave 2 in white, and this could very well still be the case, but at this point, I would most likely have to consider that this is developing as an ending diagonal, in that interpretation at the very least, or an extended wave C, where right now we would be building something like a 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5, yeah? Why am I tracking a double 1, 2 and a double 4, 5? Well, it is because this, as an internal wave tree, would need to be extended to fulfill the entire pattern, the entire count within this wave C within an impulse. Then you may also be wondering, why am I not tracking this as the wave 4 and this is the wave 5? Well, the issue then shifts, because in an impulse, the wave 4 cannot get into the territory of the wave 1. This is not a possible outcome, but what would be possible is instead to consider this as a wave 5 in an ending diagonal in this as a wave C. So technically, we could be looking for a bottom to form relatively soon, even within one additional low, but unfortunately, a couple of other interpretations would allow extensions to even lower prices, would allow continuation quite easily to the 61.8% retracement instead at $38.60. The price action has already reacted to the 50% retracement. Based on the reaction, however, we do not deem it likely to have a low in, and we do not have much structural support until we reach those levels. We have a bit here around $41, but it's not necessarily as significant, certainly not as significant as I would have considered here the 50% retracement region to have been, where this stock has managed to hold its price action for a decent amount of time. Now, the next one, as I was saying, the 61.8% retracement is going to be quite relevant, and we also have continued structural support throughout this area, but nothing as targeted as we would have had within the region of the 50% retracement here, right? Yeah, nothing as targeted as this until about the 61.8% retracement I would consider. Now, we go into the internal structure, and the fortunate part is that even though we do not have the most clear pattern down, right now we do not need it. We have confluence within pretty much all scenarios where this structure could easily be expected to extend within a couple of interpretations, and by the time it does, we might have the necessary information to better assess which pattern is developing from a larger time frame perspective. Now, before we head into that, a couple of ideas of how we could be tracking this move down could include, as I was saying, this being a double 1-2 setup, but also this being the wave B top, where right now it would be developing a 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. In this scenario, within this as a wave 3, I would expect 1 to 2 additional lows still, and then I would have to look for the correction within a wave 4 and 1 additional low within the wave 5. Pretty much regardless of which of these patterns ends up following through within this as a larger wave C, I would have to see the levels of resistance broken for the stronger indication that I have a bottom in, for the indication that after this move down would be complete, we would need even lower prices to be met. Now, in the internal structure, I deem it quite possible for this move, for this development, to follow a few interpretations, unfortunately. So in the idea of a diagonal pattern, I would need to consider the wave 1 to have bottomed here, the wave 2 to have topped here, and then this would have been my wave 3 down, wave 4 up, and then the wave 5 down. In this case, we would get the highest levels of resistance we would have to see broken for the indication that this descent isn't going to actually materialize up to $50, whereas what else I could consider is that this could be an impulse. This could have been the top of the correction in something like an A, B, C pattern, and then I would have a 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. Within this interpretation, the levels of resistance would even be met, but this scenario would already get broken if we get a sustained break above the 50% retracement instead, up to $47.40. For now, it doesn't really matter which of these scenarios we are actively tracking. I will keep both of them in the back of my mind, but the way I see it, it is quite possible for this as an internal wave 4 to already have a top in and for the descent to lower prices to have already started. An extension within this wave 4 would certainly be no issue, but I would certainly be watching out for the 38.2% retracement, which is the ideal target for the wave 4, sitting at $46.50, where we also have additional structural resistance to consider within this previous top. And for now, we do not have enough data to move on, but I will certainly be watching closely for signals of a bottom, for indications that we could start looking for higher prices, that we could start looking potentially even for the reversal within the wave 3. So yeah, this is about it from me. If you want even more, you can check out the Patreon, but these are the levels. This is the trade setup. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and if you enjoyed the content and want to support it directly, check out the channel membership, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.